Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Happy Friday. Today, last day of the week, I'm going to be doing pack 4 of the Agora Models release of Build the Corvette Stingray. I've been loving this build at the moment, and if you remember in the last stage we were actually making the chassis and putting the front wheels on. Well, today we're going to be doing the rear wheels, doing all the suspension for that as well. Now if you want to get this for yourself, I have put a link in the video description there, also a QR code on the screen that you can scan. That will take you straight to the Agora Models website. But without further ado, let's jump straight into this. Let's get cracking. So we're going to be starting this stage by doing one of the wheels. This is stage 25. Let's get everything out. And we're actually going to be starting by taking one of the wheels looking like this. Now this is a really hard tyre. I can't remember if we had to soak this in water. I don't think we did. I think I am actually able to put this into this side here. So let's just check the tyre tread. I think that's right. Push that all the way in. Turn it over. And put this other metal section, because both these sections are metal, into place here to match up the holes and then hold them in with CM screws. Now I'm using my PH1 screwdriver here because you really do want to make sure that these are tight and get them as tight as you possibly can. Now I'm going to be taking this plastic rim section here, and on this side, I don't know if you can notice it, there's a tiny notch just at the top there. That's going to go where the valve is. So I'm going to line it up to the valve and push that in like that. Turn it over. That's going to be held in with 2 DP screws. So one that side and one the other side there. And then we just want to take the hubcap here, put that in the centre. That's that wheel done, and that's all there is to do in that stage. In stage 26 here, I'm going to start the rear control arms. I don't know if you heard that jangling around there. All of this is metal. And the first thing we want is this rear left knuckle here. It is actually stamped with an L on there. We do have another one in this box, which is stamped with an R, but we're working on the left side at the moment. And I do need the control arm. This is the control arm here, and again, we just want to make sure that's stamped with an L. That's going to be going into the hole there, so it's sitting at an angle, held in with a TM screw. I have already put a tiny bit of oil in that, so I'm going to hold that in with my finger there, and get the screw in from the other side here. There you go. That's in nice and tight, looking just like that. Just going to put that to one side, and again, I'm looking for the control arm here, which is stamped with an L, which is this one. We also need this little universal joint here, which I'm going to be putting into this. It has got a D-shaped hole, so it's going to go into the top of this like that. It can only fit one way because of that D-shaped hole on there. I now need to open these RM screws here and just screw that in from the other side here. Perfect. Now the way that the 2 parts that we've just made now go together is I hold this in this hand like that and put this through this side here. So it makes that connection like that. This time I'm going to need the AM screws because I'm going to be screwing these in from this side here. And we need 2 of these. And that is perfect. That's the left one completed. All I need to do is put the left brake drum cover over, which again is stamped. It's just going to go over the top here like this, and it just pushes into place there. We can put that to one side and work on making the right hand side one. So now we can whiz through it. Once again, we're going to be putting this section on here, holding it in with a TM screw. Put that to one side, bring over the control arm here, drop in the universal joint like that. Screw that in with an RM screw. Bring over what we just created in here. Put these 2 parts together and then screw these in with AM screws. Just like that. Take the brake cover, put it over the top and push that into place. and put that to one side. The last thing to do is bring over the wheel we just created in the last stage, turn that over, and we do have the left brake drum to put into place. There is a locating lug in here, just at the top, so you match that up, push that in. It's going to be held in with RM screws. And just one this side. Once that's all the way in, nice and tight, that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 27, check this out, we're doing another wheel. So once again, just like last time, putting the metal rim in one side, matching this up on the other side here, securing that with CM screws, putting the rim over the top, and again just trying to find that notch which is here to put around the valve, which is going to go in like this. There, turn that over, that's held in with DP screws. Put the brake drum over the top here and the locating lug and push that into place, and that's held in with the RM screws. Sure that's in tight, and then all we're going to do is just put again the hubcap on here, push that into place. So we've now done 2 tyres, 2 wheels and 2 control arms. That's all there is to do in that stage. Then stage 28 here, we're going to be starting to do the gearbox. Now the first thing I'm going to be doing is creating the transmission case by scratch. So I need this gear first, and that's just going to go into the open area just here. So if I drop that in, you can see how that sits in there, probably on the top camera actually, like that. I then need to put the drive gear in. Now that's going to be fitting over the top of that. Now before I do that, anything to do with gears, especially metal, I'm going to give a hefty coat of oil in here. Then I'm going to be taking the drive shaft gear. It's going to go in with the shorter points here, downwards. And I have already oiled this up, just to make sure that these now mesh together, which they do. So the longer pin now is facing up. Then I'm taking the drive shaft gear. That's going to go on top of these, and it's going to operate the whole thing. There's so much oil in there, it's nicely lubricated. Okay. I do want to close this all up now, so I'm going to take the top side of this. This is all metal. Put this over here. And that's going to ensure everything is together. Check I can still turn it, which I can. And I'm going to hold that in with 2 FM screws. This is the last one going in here. So now I'm just going to check that I can still turn this. And as you can see, it's still working absolutely perfect there. Cool. Now I need this C-shaped linkage, and I'm going to be attaching this to the car. So let's bring that up. We haven't seen this for a while, have we? So we're going to be putting this onto, I'm going to try and show you this hopefully on one camera here. Now it's the round hole that's going to be fitting over that linkage. So I'm just going to get that lined up, which I've got over there, and a flange screw to put this in. Now you will notice I'm supporting this from the bottom, so I don't break anything, but there we go, that's in place like that. And you can probably see that on the close-up camera there. There's the top of it just there. It is able to turn, and I'm going to be putting the gearbox into this recessed area just like that there. It's going to be held in from the other side with a DM screw, just one DM screw. So we'll hold that into place. Probably best on the top camera and get this screw in. Make sure that's in tight, so you've got nice tight steering there. Perfect. So now that isn't going anywhere, as you can see. Now if we keep this turned over now, this section that we did of the steering shaft is actually going to connect to the bottom of this. So you do need to rotate it so that the square fitting will fit in that hole. Which it does perfectly there. I may need to adjust this later when I'm actually straightening out the steering here. But this will be the screw that I would need to change. It's going to be held in with an OM screw. Now I'm guessing they actually mean a QM screw, because we don't have any OM screws. So I've got my QM screw here. let's get this in and make sure that's in tight as well. And now the steering linkage is connected to the steering rod here. So when I turn this, as you can see, that's turning like that. Excellent. And that is all there is to do in that stage. Now, massive pack here, stage 29, we've got the rear chassis. Massive stage this is, and this is a massive piece of metal here as well. Look at that. Okay, we want this way round because we've got to put these tabs either side. They are stamped, so we've got one R here. These are just some side panels, and this is the left one, which is going to go on this side over here. Now the way these go, these just go onto this end, just here, like this. And they're held in with 2 cm screws. So one at the bottom and one at the top. And then when that's nice and in, we're going to do exactly the same just onto the other side here, like this, with 2 cm screws. I do like how this has already got the nipple on this section here. That's great. Okay, I'm going to bring over the car again and turn this upside down. And I'm going to be putting this rear section in. Now this is going to be going underneath here, just like that, on both sides. Again, this is held in with 2 cm screws here, 2 cm screws on the other side here. So that's the last one just going in there. That is now attached to the car. Now in the next stage, I've already actually done it, and that's this crossbeam cover that would normally go over the top here. They want us to remove this. And I also need to remove the DM screws that I've got just into the centre here. Let's get them out. And what they want me to do is just lift up the exhaust from the end here. 1, 2, being pretty gentle with that. Bring over this section here. And what I'm going to do is slide this steering guide into the end of the steering here. So I'm just going to push that in. I am coating this in some oil just to help with that. And there we go, that's in. Line up the rest of the frame here like that. And then once again, I can put this back in place with the DM screws. And then I want to put this whole frame in with CM screws all the way around the outside. Now I'm not putting anything in these holes here, just so you know. It hasn't asked me to do that, but I'll put them in the rest. You do want to make sure that this section here fits on top. I just removed that screw there just to ensure that that is in place, and I'll screw that back down now like that. Perfect. And there you go, that's that frame in place. On the back section just here, I want to put some JP screws just into these 2 holes here. So one this side and one the other side. I can then put this cover over the top here just like that. So this notch is facing towards the steering. That's held in with 2 HM screws. Now turn the car over. I'm interested in this main brake line here we had in these clips just here. I want to take the back end here, and it's going to go through the hole in this plastic section here. Hopefully you can see that there. And I'm going to be plugging this into the very back nipple of this adapter here. So it's actually probably better to get it in from this side. There you go. That's in like that, and again I will just tidy this wire back into the clips here. Now in this stage we had a 130mm hose looking like that. Turning this over, this is going to be going into the top nipple of that connector. That's going to go underneath this little section in the middle there, and it's going to plug into the top of the nipple on the other side here. So as you can see, that now looks just like that. I'm just going to turn this back over now And to keep this wire in place and nice and neat, we do have some little adhesive strips here. So I get to put that just over here to keep that into place. Just put that to one side for a second. And I want to bring over the control arms that we've got, because we've got two pipes left here. Now one of them is slightly longer than the other one. So I'm just checking which one that is. As a matter of fact, they're pretty much the same. I don't think it's going to matter which one you put these on. They look so identical, but they're going to go onto the nipple, just onto this section here. So I'll get one in this side. Probably use my tweezers for this. Make sure that's all the way on there. Do the same on the other one. And that is all there is to do in that big, big, big stage. Now in stage 30, we're building the rear differential case. And the first thing I've got to do is I've got to make 3 universal joints here. So they're going to kind of look just like that there. It does mean putting these cross sections into the middle here and screwing them in with AP screws each side. I'm going to get all 3 of these done. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. All completed. And then we want to take this metal differential housing looking like this. I've got a bracket to put in here. It's the shorter side that I want to put into the holes just here like that. And that's held in on the other side here with DM screws. This is the last one going in. So that looks like that. Then I've got a support bracket to put in, which looks like this. That's just going to go over the 2 holes that we have here, the 2 lugs. Let me get that lined up. Tight fit. Once again, 2 DM screws each side. And there you go. That's in place looking like that. Now on this side here, this is where we're going to be putting all of these universal joints. So one in that side there, one in the top, and one in this side just here. Just like that. And then I want to piece both of these together to hold all of that into place. Excellent. It's held in just with 1 DM screw in this hole at the bottom. So I've made that nice and tight, and that's now in place. Perfect. Just into this section just at the top here then, we've just got the bracket to put on. That's going to go over the top just like that there, again held in with DM screws. And then finally on the other side here, just on these 2 sections, we have this cross member to put in place. This raised section here needs to be pointing towards the back of the differential there. Again, held in with DM screws. That was quite an impressive pack just doing this one here. Just this stage. I liked that. Okay, we need to bring up something we worked on in a previous pack. And that is the transmission shaft. Looking like this. We're going to be taking this end of the transmission shaft, and it's going to be going over this universal joint just here. We're holding that in with AP screws. The way you do this is put one side in. Just like that. Make sure it's tight. And then just swivel it round to get to the other side. So as you can see, that's going like that. Excellent. And that is all there is to do in that stage. Now there's 2 stages left, but I do have this feeling that these are going to be really big stages. So these are axle drive shafts, so I need one of these first, bringing over the differential housing that we were working on last time. I'm going to be putting one of these into the side just here. Now they're held in with CP screws each side. So that's one that side, spin it round, and just put one in the other side here. Perfect. Going to do the same on the other side here. It doesn't matter which way round you put these in. Just one, again, spin it round, put the one in the other side. We then got this massive leaf spring to put on. That's going to go onto the points just here. So this way round, line it up so it fits over the top. Then we have a plate cover that's going on top of that there, and then that's held in with AM screws. So that's one in. Let's do the one on the other side. Remember, anytime I'm going into metal, I am putting oil on my screw. So I'm turning the car upside down, and I want to take these brackets here. Now, they are stamped at the bottom. This one's stamped with an R. It's the right-hand side one that I need. It's going to go into this section here. Now, there is a little D-shaped hole. So, just match the D-shaped hole with that there. And it's held in from the other side with a DM screw. So I've got a DM screw loaded up. Put this on its side and screw this in just from here. That's in nice and tight, like that. I'm going to do the same with the left side, just like that, and again a DM screw. And then that's that one in as well, like that. So while we've got it this way round, we're going to be attaching the leaf spring. So first thing I want to show you is that behind this section here, we've got two nipples. I'm going to call the top nipple number 1. That's the one nearest to this frame. The bottom nipple number 2. That's in the middle there. I want to take the 145mm hose. This is the longest one in this pack, and that's going to be going into nipple number 1. Just like that there. Now we've got the really long one, which is 285mm long. It's going to go in number 2. And I've ensured that's all the way on there. And then the 76mm long hose is just going to be going into the nipple on the front of this section here. Just like that. And that is all there is to do in that stage. Massive pack this is, so let's end this with quite a difficult stage, I'm guessing. Look at all these parts. Okay, this is going to be fun. We're going to be fitting the rear suspension and the wheels. So bringing over the differential and the leaf spring, everything that we had in here, I want to be taking one of the smaller swing bars here, and I'm going to be putting that into the end just here like that. It's going to be held in from this side with a PM screw. So let's get this screw all the way through. A long screw, this one. Perfect. And that's that one in like that there. I'm going to do the same on the other side just here. And that's the second one in as well. Now I've got these two universal joints here. One there and one there. They're going to be put in onto the end of these drive shafts here and here with CP screws. So one CP screw in that side and one in the other side there. And then we're just going to be doing the same on the other drive shaft. You know what, just this part here has got so much detail in it. We can put that to one side though. And I want to bring over the left control arm here. And I've got one of these dampener rods to put over the top of this section just here like that. Now the recess section actually faces out, so you will be tempted to put it the other way around. It actually faces out, so it's going to be going on this way here. That's held in with an AM screw, and I'm just screwing that in there. PH1 screwdriver ensures that you get that nice and tight. Bring the other one over, do exactly the same on this side here. I'm going to keep saying it. What an involved pack this one is. This has got loads to do. Okay, and that one's in as well. So, bring in the differential over again. We want it this way round, and I want the left-hand side control arm. And in the drive shaft down the bottom here, I just want to be putting this section here onto that section just like that. It's going to be held in with AP screws. So this is one going in that side, and I can just turn this round and put the one in the other side. I'm going to be doing the same on the right hand side one. We now need these OM screws, and they're going to be going to mount the top sections of these into place. So I'm just going to get this in here, And they're held in with these OM screws from this side. And do the same on this side over here. And get that all the way in. So they are now both in place. Put that to one side and bring over this rod with 2 threads on each side. And we got some nuts to put on those. And I just want to thread one of the nuts all the way down to the bottom of the thread there, like that. I also want to take a nut here and put it in the left control arm, just into the hexagonal gap that I've got just there. And I want to take what we've just created with the nut at this end and secure that to the nut behind it, like this. Now I've just realised when we put this nut in on this rod, we need to make sure it's on the longer threaded side so we can get this all the way down. There's plenty of thread left at that side, so when I do this section, so now we've got that in, I'm going to hold that nut from that side and again take it this way around and just screw this in here. Make sure it engages that nut underneath, which it has. Get it as tight as I can. And then when I have, they provided this little spanner just to make sure it's extra tight there. Excellent. All I'm going to do then is put the end of this through the leaf spring at the top here. Get it all the way through there. Just banging that leaf spring into place there. And I'm going to be putting a nut over the top to get that all the way down. So I do need to knock this so it's quite long down the shaft there. There you go. So then I can put that over the top. Get a nut on top of that. Quite an ingenious way to do the suspension there. I can let that fire back up now, like that. And then just use my spanner just to ensure that that's flush at the top there. And that's in place. We're going to do the same on the other side. Make sure that nut is flush with the top there. And then bring the leaf spring back up. I'll just put on this cover for the brake here like that. And there you go. Both of those are in place. Now put that to one side and bring the car over. And in these sections here of the arches of the wheels, we have got the suspension cylinders there. They're going to go in like this. Hopefully you can see that. Held in with a GP screw. So one in this side. And I'll put one in the other side as well. Now in these cylinders we have some springs. So I'm going to be putting one spring in that side. And one spring in that side there. Bring over this whole thing that we created here. And it's all going to go together now. And we want to make sure that these suspension pistons here are going inside these sections here. We want to make sure that the drive shaft's going underneath this section here. So we're doing 100 things at once at the moment. We just need to rotate a little bit around here so they're perfectly upright. And then these control arms are going through the slots that we've got in the side there. So I've got to get them in as well. And then we want to push these control arms all the way through these sections here. So it should look like that when it's in. So the first screw I'm going to be putting in to hold this in place is just through here. And that's going to be an AM screw. And there we go. That's that one in place there. Now the back ones here and here are held in with CM screws. There is going to be some resistance in here because of the springs that we put in to the suspension. And there you go. They're in just like that. Now you'll be pleased to know, just putting that bit in took me 45 minutes. 45 minutes to get that in. Very hard, but persevere, you will get that done. Look at the gap between this section here and this section here. That will tell you how far up this needs to be pushed to get that in. The last thing to do, we've got these SM screws here. they're going to go through each side here and here to keep the control arms in. I want to take the pipe that's coming from each brake and plug them into the last nipple that we've got on these sections here. So one in here, and do the same on the other side. Then I want to take the lead that's coming from the handbrake cable here, the number 1, which is the short lead here. And that's going to be plugging into the other nipple on the other side of the brake drum here. Might be better just to take off the fascia so you can get to that nipple. Like that. Then put that back on. And then do the same with the other one. We want to follow the... You'll find if you guide it through this side and then feed it back out the other side here. Just like that. It will enable you to put it underneath this support bracket here. And again, plug this into the nipple on the other side of this section here. And there we go. That's both of those in place there. All that's left to do then is to put the wheels on. So bringing them over here, I'm going to take out the hubs. Put the car just on its side here. Put one of the wheels on. Just like that. A washer down the top, and then I'm holding that in with a CM screw. Excellent, and just do the same on the other side. So that's on. Put the hubs back in on that side. And one the other side. And what did I tell you about that stage? That is all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. And there you go, check that out. That's got to be one of the longest recording times. How long? 2 hours, 21 minutes. And 45 minutes of that we're getting the rear suspension CM screws in. But we've achieved it in the end, and it's quite rewarding seeing how it's looking at the moment. And once again, if you want to get this for yourself, I have put a link in the video description and on the screen there. That will take you straight to the Agora Metals website where you can get it all the way from pack 1. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.